Most people think that the secret to a long, healthy life is about finding the right diet, the right workout plan, or the right supplement. But what if I told you that none of that is actually what predicts how long or how well you'll live? You see, there's one thing that matters far more than any of those other strategies, and no one seems to be talking about it. But don't just trust me at my word simply because I'm a doctor. This is not just my opinion. There is something that's been proven again and again in decades of scientific research, from Harvard studies to the Blue Zones Project to some of the largest longevity studies in the world. In this video, I'm going to show you what that one thing is and why it determines your long-term health better than your genes, your weight, or your blood work, and how to make it part of your life starting today. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Let me tell you a quick story. I had a patient once. We'll just call him Joe. He was about 82 years old when I first met him. There was nothing about him that screamed anti-aging. He did not take any fancy supplements. He was not doing cold plunges or any biohacking things. He lived in a very modest home. He told me that he walked every morning to go get coffee with his friend, Bob, and he grew tomatoes in his backyard in the summer. He was highly engaged with his church, and he enjoyed going to the gym to de-stress, and as he called it, to socialize. And when I first met him, I swear he looked to be about 60 years old. He had this energy, this clarity, his posture. Everything about him screamed youthful, and his eyes would glow. I remember we had a conversation and I asked him, "What is your secret, Joe?" He smiled and he said to me this, "I never really changed much. I've just done the same few things every day since I was about 30. And that really stuck with me because what I saw in Joe was something that the science later confirmed. It's really not what you try, it's what you repeat. Now, let's be totally honest. We've all been marketed that if we want to be healthy or live longer, we need to follow some kind of intense plan. And you've been told to probably follow a strict diet or a hardcore workout program. Maybe you've even tried some supplements, cleanses, or revolutionary protocols that you were told were decoded by scientists in a very amazing new research study that just came out. But here's the problem with all this stuff. These things are usually designed to be followed for a few weeks, maybe a few months, maybe even a couple of years. And that's just still maybe 1% of your whole life. So in the grand scheme of things, that short-term effort has almost no lasting value if you can't sustain it long-term. Because what actually determines your outcome is what you do during the other 99% of your life. And that is the truth that no one tells you and that the diet and weight loss industries love to keep a secret. This is a core issue that I always teach to members inside my private community, where I help people take control of their health with very simple tactics. But don't worry, I will tell you about how you can be involved with that in a little bit. So, what you need to know is that this core principle is not just common sense. As mentioned earlier, there are several large institutions that have conducted very big research studies on longevity and healthy living, and they all come to the same conclusion, which is this: the strongest predictor of how long and how well you live is your daily lifestyle. In other words, your habits. It's not just your cholesterol, it's not your willpower, it's not the latest diet trend, it's not the scale. Instead, it's the small actions that you repeat over and over again. It's what you eat, how you move, how you live, what shape your brain, your body, and your health is in. And that's what separates the people who really thrive into their 80s, 90s, or longer from the people who burn out well before they're in their 60s. So instead of chasing some extreme method or a miracle program, what you really need is just to focus on what you do every single day. And here is the key. The whole point of habits is that they must be simple enough to repeat for life, because that's what we're talking about here. Not the next 30 days. your lifetime. So what's the real solution? It's not doing more. It's not just pushing yourself harder. It's not finding the perfect protocol or the perfect diet formula, contrary to what everybody else is trying to sell you. The solution is simple. It's learning how to build these simple, sustainable habits that support your health every single day, because that's what makes the difference over decades of time. And it's something that I see in my clinical practice, patient after patient. Once these habits become part of your routine, you're no longer relying on just motivation or willpower or needing to reset those New Year's resolutions each January. Instead, you're just living in a way that supports your longevity, naturally, with ease, and without you having to think about it. So again, the power of habits comes from the fact that they're simple enough to repeat forever. That's how they really shape your future. So now at this point, you're probably thinking, okay, but what exactly are these lifestyle habits that Dr. Anna's telling me about? Let's break it down. I like to think of this as 3 core areas that matter the most. Area 1, which is how you eat. It's not just the diet you followed for the last 3 weeks or how you ate in the weekdays, but then not in the weekend. It's the way you nourish yourself day after day over decades of your life. So it's about choosing real foods, eating in a balanced way, and in an enjoyable or a relaxed way, at least most of the time. It's making sure you're not eating too much or too little of the nutrients your body needs. And then area number 2 is really how you move and rest. I'm not talking about training like an athlete necessarily, although training can be really good for your body. I'm really talking about moving your body consistently, with purpose, with care, making sure you try to avoid getting injured. You keep your muscles strong, your joints moving. Mixing up resistance training like lifting weights, doing some cardio exercise, could be biking or jogging or swimming, and mixing in some activities that help relax you, like walking, stretching, things like yoga, and overall, just keeping your body moving. And equally important, the other side of the movement coin is the rest. It's about getting enough good quality sleep consistently, taking the time to rest your body and de-stress, even taking naps if needed. So that is area 2. Area 3 then is how you relate to yourself and others. So it's about turning your hunger, your stress, your emotions, and responding to them in healthy ways as opposed to the typical unhealthy ways that most people are addressing them. Smoking cigarettes, drinking a lot of alcohol, eating fast food with lots of sugar, salt, and fatty foods, drinking lots of sugary sodas, things to quench cravings. Plus, it's about staying mentally and emotionally grounded. And this can often be achieved in a variety of ways. Fun hobbies like playing an instrument, golf, doing art, spending time in nature, etc. There's literally an endless number of things that you can do to keep your mind engaged. And most of all, it's about connecting with a supportive community. These are all the real levers of long-term health. And they only work, again, if they are simple enough to live with. Not obsessing about these things, not overly restricting yourself, but just doing things and engaging in habits that are simple, doable, and durable for the long term. So if you want to learn how to actually build these habits in a way that fits your life now, if you want to be guided step by step by me, and if you want to be surrounded by dozens of other people just like you who are already creating real change without suffering or extreme measures, then I'd love to invite you to join my private community, and it's called Take Back Your Life. Inside, you're going to find the tools, the structure, and the support to build habits that really last. For getting your health back on track or securing yourself a future of success. Whatever your goal is, we help you get there. Now, if that sounds like the kind of support you've been looking for, make sure to click the link in the description below this video. And if this video is starting to shift your perspective, I want you to comment this below. What is one small habit that you want to commit to? What challenges you? And what is something you've been trying to work on? Let me know, because I actually do read every single comment and I'd love to support you and cheer you on. And if you're ready to take the next step, you know where to find me. Subscribe to the channel. I have so much more information for you to dive into to make sure you're supercharging your health and setting yourself up for future success. Jump into all those videos, and I'll see you in there.